time to turn the pages. It's time to type it right. It's time to get things started on the most booktational, inspirational Once Upon an Author show. Here's your host, Danielle M. Orsino. Yay!
Isn't it funny how you can love something so much it hurts and then hate it just as fiercely? Scarlet Witch, Marvel Comics. Welcome to another episode of Once Upon an Author. I'm your host, Danielle M. Morsino. Once upon a time, June 29th, 2020, I released the first edition of Birth of the Fae, Locked Out of Heaven, or BOFT as I like to call it, LOH for short. This would become my greatest accomplishment and the bane of my existence. If you are watching this, you can kind of see this beautiful book, which I still do love the cover. It's navy blue with all this gold cover jewelry, as I like to call it. I was so proud of this thing and I loved it. And at the same time, to this day, I absolutely despise this book or this version of it. So I thought I had it figured out. I thought this was it. This was my thing. It's ready to rock. I did it. I wrote the book. It's published. Here we go. Little did I know. It was all going to come crashing down. Now, not that getting it published was smooth sailing. It really wasn't. I had so many things leading up to it that, once again, I've said this before, the universe throws pebbles at me, then a rock, then a brick, then a boulder. It was doing that leading up to it. I just didn't listen. Again, Harley, getting in my own way. I was doing that so much. This would be one of my biggest and probably my greatest learning experiences. For all authors out there, people who want to write, listen carefully. Anybody who isn't even an author, you're going to learn a lot, because I always say, if you want to learn what not to do, come sit next to me. I'm going to give it away. First of all, 45 days before release, my PR firm, who was the best in the business, had been doing this for 30 years. I put the money toward them because I thought, this is what pros do, and I read all the books. They made a colossal mistake, one that to this day they swear has never been made in 20 years. They accidentally released the climactic ending to Locked Out of Heaven. They did it on Goodreads. They didn't just do it in the synopsis. Oh, no. That'd be too easy. They did it in my profile. And there it was. So here's the thing, though. When a PR firm sets up your social media, they don't give you access, especially on Goodreads. I had set up my own Instagram, so that was okay. That was safe. I did not have a Facebook page at this point. Goodreads is the place. This is where all your bookstagrammers go to leave their reviews. This is where everybody goes to check you out. It has your star ratings from everywhere. It's kind of a big deal. I did not understand Goodreads at this point. I let them do it because this was one of the things I thought I had learned. Don't try to learn everything. Let someone who's an expert do it. I thought I was bringing my ego down and saying, okay, I don't know how to do it. Let someone else do it. This is good for me. Let someone take the reins. Don't be a control freak. Should have been a control freak. They swore this had never happened before. Something made me look at it. I don't know why. I just got a feeling to go check it out. So I did. My friend Jacob was with me because he had been helping me up to this point. And he saw the look on my face and he's like, girl, what's wrong? And there it was on my profile. A summary of my big climactic ending. the battle, all of it, how this whole book ended was there. I cried. I mean, tears. He came over, he looked at it. He didn't know what to say. There were curses flowing, everything. He's like, call them. I called them. I got the owner on the phone. Swore up and down, this has happened in 20 years. She said, what this is if you were to go on a talk show, the hosts never read the books. They get cards, they get summaries of like the major points of the book, including the ending. Someone had posted my ending. I would find out about 3.5 years later. This is called being harpooned in the industry. It's when a PR firm represents a bigger author, and if that author gets wind of a new coming author that they think is too close to them, they will harpoon you. They think you're competition. This is a tactic where your ending will get released. I got harpooned. Do I know who the author is? Yes. I found out. Are they big? Mm-hmm. Did they have a television series? Yup. But what happened was this author had left this PR firm, but they still wrote forwards, gave quotes, and did reviews for other authors at their firm. They were too big. They couldn't possibly upset them. Was my series like theirs? No. The only thing that connected us was fairies. Mine are the fae. Mine is different. This author with their huge ego, huge, thought it just couldn't be because we both had the veil, fairy worlds. Oh no, can't have that. So she, believe me, I wish I could say this person's name. I really do. But for legal reasons, I can't. I've been advised by my lawyers, I cannot. I will drop hints in other episodes and we will breadcrumb this thing. And you guys, I know you're smart, you'll figure it out. Felt it was too close and had me harpooned. Other things happened. This was eventually taken down, but at this point, the damage was done. By the time this was cleared up, I was now a month out. People had already seen it. Once again, I would think this was the brick coming at me from the universe. The pebbles had been thrown leading up to it. I would think this is the brick. But the universe wasn't done with me. Then there was my BFF. Okay, ex-BFF now, but she was the publisher. And we're going to get into that in a whole other episode, ladies and gentlemen, so just buckle up. This is a bumpy ride, I told you. This was not our Rainbows and Sunshine episode, okay? It's going to be, but not just yet. She was supposed to be helping me, and I'm going to put quotes around that. Instead, she was about to deliver a massive blow. Long before I realized she was taking my money and doing all that, the first shipment of books arrived. I was so excited. So excited. I took pictures of my dogs reading the books and put them on Instagram, all the stuff. Until I started thumbing through it. This is the original, like I said, that I'm holding up. As I went through this book, oh gosh, I could still see it. The is spelt wrong. Little. Oh God, there's words missing. Oh, them. Oh, I never saw that one. Yeah, there's spelling errors. I had gotten an editor. Don't ever tell your editor you're dyslexic. Rule number 1, don't ever do that. My friend was supposed to have proofread it. Now, this was my mistake, and I'm going to tell you right now, this was an ego mistake. My husband had offered to proof it when it came back from the editor. I was so determined to do this by myself because my husband is one of the smartest people I know. They called us Spock and Kirk, and we definitely deserve it. I am impulsive. I am passionate. I am all those things. The minute I look at him and go, I got an idea, he pinches at the bridge of his nose and he's like, hold on. Because right now he's already figuring out this must involve something. I wanted to do this on my own. I wanted to prove to him I could do it, so I didn't have him read it. That was my first mistake. I should have just put my ego aside and let the man read it. I let my friend do her job, and she was like, we'll proof it. My husband will prove it. He was an author. They never proofed it. They BS'd me. There were errors. Now, an editor only catches 80%. which is why it's supposed to go through different rounds and you're supposed to have a proofer. I didn't know any of this. I thought as a publisher they would know this. I should have known they were just playing pretend, which is something they did. So when I told them, their response was every book has a mistake. Even mine had two, she said. Okay. I started getting emails from people pointing out the errors. Yes, pointing them out to me. For me to fix the mistakes, it was $40 an upload. So even if I found 6, let's say, fixed them, I had to pay the typesetter, I had to do all this to upload it, was $40. I spent a lot of money in uploads and still didn't catch them all. Now, I could not do anything about the books that were already bought, which wasn't that money, and I'll tell you about that in a sec, too. The lesson I learned is no one's ever going to take care of your stuff or care about it the way you are. Ever. I don't care how close they are to you. I don't care if they're family. I don't care. This is your work. Remember that. No one's going to care the way you are. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, get a bunch of editors and get a proofer. And don't ever tell me you're dyslexic, ever. They ain't going to do the same job you think. Learned that one. Now I have two editors always. I have a line editor, I have a developmental editor, I have a proofreader. I did that even for my second publisher. Not that it helped, but we're going to get into that when we get to publisher number 2. But I always have editors now because I will never make this mistake again. And look, you will probably find a mistake even in the third versions of these books or second versions, but you will not find what you found in other ones ever again. Is will never be spelled ISS. The will not be spelled TEH. Look, will and be spelled AN sometimes? Yes, sometimes it happens. It happens even in typeset. Or, a letter gets left off to fit it in. Things like that I've learned. I can accept that. Sometimes there's a double comma. Once again, I can accept those things. What was in this book? No. Never again. As if that wasn't enough, my book was categorized in every Christian fiction category on Amazon. And this is how they found me, folks. This is how they got me. And that's how I wound up in some hot water with some religious ethic groups. And blasphemy lists, this is how you end up on them. And no, they weren't quiet. No. They let me know it and they let me hear it. Went to my PR firm, they did nothing. They just wrote it out. I went to my friend and their attitude was, this is still good publicity. Bad, good, it doesn't matter. You're on the radar. When you're getting death threats, that's a hard pill to swallow. But okay. First set of reviews came in. PR firm had sent it to a romance reviewer. There's no romance in book 1 at all. There's not even a hint of it. Look, my characters are trying to rebuild their lives, figure out what to do. They ain't got time to swipe right or left. It's not going to happen. There is no romance at all. So do you think a romance book reviewer was happy with Birth of the Fae Locked Out of Heaven? No, they were not. They gave me 3 stars, but they commented on the editing. They said it felt like a rough draft. Right to the heart. And then other points of no romance. It's still up on Goodreads. It's really down at the bottom if you ever want to read it. It's there. Now, the other request that I thought I made pretty clear to my best friend was, do not tell me how many books I sold. I want to wait for the month. BookScan works Tuesday to Tuesday. That's how they add up the books. Now, I didn't think I was making USA Today, where you have to sell 5,000 books in 1 week, but I thought I would do okay. Now, I released the book June 29th. My birthday is July 3rd. I didn't want to know because it was my birthday. I said, please don't tell me. She goes, no problem. I won't tell you. She calls me up on my birthday, goes, happy birthday. You sold 25 books. Excuse me. If I could say what I said on the phone, I would, but we're on radio and Facebook, so I can't. But it wasn't nice. Really? 25 books? No. Nope. We don't do that. I was not happy. I cried. I was crushed. Like I said, I didn't think I'd sell 5,000, but 25? Not a great number. Picking myself up by my bootstraps again, I brushed it off and just had to kind of figure it all out. Now, it wasn't all doom and gloom, like I said. I did start getting reviews. The book started to make a name. Some good, some not so good. But I started doing book tours, all virtual, Instagram, that kind of stuff. And some people really liked it. Mistakes included. That was always kind of thrown in there somewhere. And it was always like, can't wait to see how she evolves as a writer. I was like, okay, cool, cool. Not bad, not bad. We can work with this. We can work with this. This is good. But I kept going back to one thought, which we're going to get into right after these words from a very special organization that is close to my heart, and I hope you guys will look into for more information on myasthenia gravis.
Imagine waking up, unable to lift your arms, open your eyes fully, or even smile. For the thousands living with the rare autoimmune disease myasthenia gravis, this is reality every day. Myasthenia gravis weakens muscles, turning simple tasks into daily struggles. But there's hope. Advancements in treatments and support from organizations like the Myasthenia Gravis Foundation of America offer MG patients and their families a brighter future. Together, we're fighting for a world without myasthenia gravis. To learn more about this disease or make a gift to support research and education, visit the Myasthenia Gravis Foundation of America website at myasthenia.org. That's myasthenia.org.
Okay, so I've released the first edition of Locked Out of Heaven. To some okay reviews, some very upset ethics groups, and I've disappointed myself. It's not doing what I thought it would do. Now, that does start to change. But the one thought I keep having is, if I had it to do all over again, what would I do? There was a prologue I wanted to add. I was advised by the publisher, nobody reads the prologues, skip it. It keeps going on in my head. So I wind up adding it to a second edition, and I just put that second edition aside. And I think I might reprint the second edition. I make all the changes, I redo it, and it's just kind of sitting there, almost like it's calling my name. And I put it aside, and I keep thinking, I should have listened to myself. And this is that first universal thought. And this is that lesson. The second lesson, get a marketing plan. Don't rely on a PR firm. You don't need a PR firm. I'm sorry, PR firms, if you're listening. You don't need one initially. Like, get the ball rolling. You do need a marketing plan. Okay, after you write the book, if you were looking at an iceberg, writing the book is like the peak. It's that little tip. Everything under the water, that's marketing. That's where the real work begins. But you don't need necessarily a PR firm for that. I didn't know the difference. So you got to kind of do the research and get that figured out. I didn't do that. Number two, know the difference. But okay. The critiques keep coming, but they're not all bad. They're getting a little better because it's reaching the audience it should. I get rid of the PR firm. Other mistakes are made. Big ones. They're not hitting my target audience. Like, I wanted to be in Fae magazine, which I love. Karen K is awesome. And she's very supportive of the book and she's helping. But that's because I contacted them, not the PR firm. I get rid of the PR firm. They give me my money back because of all their mistakes. And I just kind of do a grassroots movement. I hit number 88,000 on Amazon's list. I know that doesn't sound impressive because even I was like, okay, big deal. After being with my second publisher, I realized it was a big deal. But there, at that point, are 10 million books on Amazon. To be number 88,000 overall is really good, especially for a debut author. And I stayed at that. The lowest I got was number 50,000. I never went past 88,000 until the book went out of print. So I was doing pretty good. I never saw a dime of it, but I was doing good. So this is what happened. Due to poor editing and other things and eventually figuring out what was going on, and like I said, we're going to get into that in a whole other episode, I left that publisher, but the book is still sold on Amazon. So let me just bring it back up again. This book is listed on Amazon for $7, and they list it with my third edition. My third edition. This book is listed. Amazon outbids me. So whenever Locked Out of Heaven, the third edition, Kindle or paperback, makes the number one list, Amazon takes that book, that beautiful navy blue cover, and drops the price. And then puts it first to make it look like that's the book that is the number one bestseller. It's not. Everything in the third edition is what I really wanted. And they outsell me. They even hide my paperback. How did they get that book? They claim they bought a pallet right before it went out of print. Well, it went out of print in 2021. I've looked into legal. I've done everything. Now, if they bought a pallet of this book, believe me, I would have gotten paid some money. Maybe they did, and it's money I didn't see. That's totally possible. Like I said, I really didn't make any money off this book. I never saw it. I'll tell you about exactly how much I made on that episode, but it was not a pallet's worth, and it didn't reflect the number I was. So for anybody out there, if you have bought the blue cover in the month of December when it was on sale, and the sale went anywhere from $10 down to $5, in the month of December, if you bought Birth of the Fae, Locked Out of Heaven, the blue first edition, the blue cover, DM me on Instagram. If you're willing to trade and you can show me proof, show me your receipt that you bought this book on Amazon in the month of December and are willing to trade, I will send you the third edition for free. That's how upset I am that this book is still out there. And I make no money off of it. I make no money off that book, Tyler, at all. I don't see a dime. I have never seen a dime from Amazon for that book.
That is such malarkey.
And they outsell me. So whatever Locked Out of Heaven goes number one or goes on the top 10 list, they put that book, they put their version, and I call it their version because they have stock of it, ahead of mine, and then go lower to outsell me. And they always say, 5 copies left, hurry up. Oh, 5 in stock, that's it. And the minute it gets to 1, they'll say out of stock, and then I'm like, good, it's gone. Oh my God, thank you. And then the next day, we found 3. And we're back. I have been doing this for years, fighting with them. If I take it any further, I will be blacklisted. So I can't. Believe me, I'd love to. I really would. I would love to. I can't do anything. So I'm just going to give it for free. That's what I'm going to do. So if you bought it from Amazon, I will show the book again. If you bought that book from Amazon in the month of December, DM me at daniellemorsino on Instagram, daniellemorsinoauthor on Instagram. Let me know, show me proof. I will give you the third edition for free. And if you prefer the audio edition, no problem, I'll give you that. I just want this book gone. You just have to donate it or send it to me. I may burn it, to be honest with you. I know it's sacrilegious, but you don't understand what I've been through with this book. You really don't. So that's it. I'm just getting rid of it. New start. I'm moving away from this. I just got to give it to Amazon, and this is the only way I can do it. Right now, there's 5 books left. Okay, sure. So let me know, and you can have it for free. And that's what I'm doing with it. So, but I've turned things around. I look at this, everything that's happened with this as rejection, as projection. It's projected me forward into my third edition, being where I am. If none of this happened, my voice still would have been stifled. I never would have gotten the third edition. It wouldn't be my work. I wouldn't have learned, have as many editors as humanly possible, and proofread. Stick to your guns on certain things, and be a little control freak. It doesn't mean be hard to work with. There's a difference between being a control freak and being hard to work with. Being a control freak just means checking and having a system of checks and balances, which I figured out. Took me a little while, not going to lie. But that's what you have to do. At the end of the day, nobody's going to care about it the way you were going to. So keep that in mind. For today's writer's tip, I'm going to say never underestimate the power of research and preparation. Before releasing your book, make sure you have a good marketing plan. You understand the process. You know the differences between PR firm and a marketing plan, marketing firm. Editing, formatting, proofing. They're not optional. They're essential. You have to do that. You need to know what all this is. And most important, trust yourself and your instincts. You know what your book's about. For everything else, before we close this chapter, look back at the challenge you've faced during your journey, anything. How did you handle the setback? And did it lead to something better or something entirely different? I didn't get what I wanted for the first edition, but I got what I needed, a lesson, which led me to my third edition. And I'm proud of that book, enough that I'm giving it away. That's how much I believe in my third book. I have never made the #1 position. I've made it with all 3 releases now. Locked Out of Heaven, From the Ashes, Thine Eyes of Mercy. Check me out on Instagram at daniellemorsinoauthor. You can also check out this episode on YouTube at daniellemorsinoauthor or the WWDB AM app and the WWDB AM website or Facebook. I'll see you guys next week. Happy holidays.